NL MVP just announced a few minutes ago. Paul Goldschmidt of the St. Louis Cardinals is the National League MVP, most valuable player. Congratulations to Paul Goldschmidt. So well deserved. I feel like he was just the epitome of consistency throughout the regular season. He dominated this year. He was awesome, and he has been on the cusp of getting this done so many times in his career. 2 times second place finish, 1 time third place finish. He has been knocking on the door of the MVP award, and he finally gets it done. So congratulations to him. What a year. 317, a 981 OPS, 178 knocks, 35 home runs, 115 RBIs. Truly a remarkable year for Goldie. And personally, I'm very excited to see him get this done just because of how close he's been in his career. Really cool to see him finally do it.
The other crazy thing to kind of wrap your head around is he is the oldest since Barry Bonds won this award in 2004 when Barry Bonds was 40 because Goldschmidt is 35. But we didn't really talk about it and debate about the National League MVP that much because we were so wrapped up in the American League MVP that he just kind of slid through the whole season. And you're like, oh, yeah, it's probably going to be Goldschmidt. That's just what it's going to be, that there was never really a question or a doubt he was going to get it. But just so awesome because he's been close so many times that he finally got it done at age 35 on a team that was having just a magical run this season. Towards the end of the season, obviously didn't pan out the way they thought it would in the playoffs. But the whole situation was just between a couple MVP style seasons, setting records with Pujols' most magical farewell tour ever. It was a cool thing to watch the Cardinals this year.
You mentioned his age, and I don't think I realized he was 35.
Yeah.
Like, not that that's old, but it's older for baseball.
For athletes.
And there have only been 10 players to ever win the MVP award at 35 or older.
Yeah.
Goldie makes the 11th, which, look, that's pretty cool. As you mentioned, first since Barry Bonds in 2004. But this is his 4th top 3 finish, making him the 13th first baseman to have 4 or more top 3 MVP finishes. Of those 12 other first basemen, 8 of them are already in the Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
8 of them. And 2 more, Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera, locks.
Duh.
Right?
Yeah.
Only Will Clark and Ryan Howard are not in the Hall of Fame. So to me, Alex, this brings up a question of, is Paul Goldschmidt a Hall of Famer? And if the answer before this MVP was no, does this National League MVP award solidify Paul Goldschmidt as a Hall of Famer? I think yes.
Yeah.
I think he's in. By any stretch of the imagination, 4 top 3 finishes in the MVP award, which in itself is remarkable, but now he got it. He got the one. He did it. He was forever an MVP. No matter how many times you want to say, well, he was close but didn't get it done, guess what? He got it done. And Baseball Reference has this Hall of Fame monitor. And I don't know the exact, everything that goes into it. We could talk for a while about what does go into it. But it's Baseball Reference, which is legit. And they have a Hall of Fame monitor, which is legit as well. Now, on this monitor, 100, right? The number 100 is a likely Hall of Famer. Paul Goldschmidt sits at 97 already.
Oh.
I'm going to...
So that's a no-doubter then, right?
By this metric, no.
By this metric, yeah.
But it's baseball.
You never know.
I'm going to say he's in this MVP. I would have said most likely yes.
Yeah.
Before this, I'm going to say yes. Now, Paul Goldschmidt is absolutely a Hall of Famer.
That's awesome.
So cool.
And it's awesome, especially, again, I know we've kind of talked about it now a lot. 35 years old. That's not old in the grand scheme of things, but in the baseball world and in the athlete world, that's usually towards the end of your career.
Yeah.
So to be able, just like we saw your brother yesterday win his 3rd Cy Young at 39, which is almost unheard of. 35 for an everyday player is also kind of unheard of to have an MVP season. And it's just, you got to be so happy for the guy who's come so close so many times and then finally got it done.
I feel like because Paul Goldschmidt hasn't a lot of his career took place in Arizona.
Yeah.
Not a huge baseball market. Then goes to St. Louis, which is obviously a bigger baseball market, but he hasn't been, he's spent a strong majority of his career in Arizona, goes to St. Louis, but still not the New Yorks and Los Angeleses of the baseball market. So I feel like he's a bit undervalued in the public eye of just how good he's been. Because of this year, this makes number 5. Paul Goldschmidt now has 5 seasons with 30 or more homers, 6 or higher WAR, and a 900 or higher OPS. As many as Hall of Famers Ken Griffey Jr., Joe DiMaggio, Hank Greenberg, and Frank Thomas, more than Vladimir Guerrero, Willie McCovey, Willie Stargell, Reggie Jackson. I mean, these accolades go on and on for him, and 2022 was his 5th such season of that. Only Aaron Judge, Yordan Alvarez, and Mike Trout did that this season. So really cool, special for Paul Goldschmidt. Elite territory. This tweet from Katie Wu: Albert Pujols announced Paul Goldschmidt as the National League MVP. An awesome ending to what truly was a special season for all in St. Louis. It really was. And I think, Alex, we were both a little surprised that they didn't go further just because of the magic that was going on there with Pujols and Wainwright and Yachty, and then the MVP duo of Goldschmidt and Arenado. They had so much going on, but that does not take away from the great season that they had, the fun journey that Albert Pujols led the whole baseball world on. We will remember that forever. And it turns out they ended up losing to the National League champions. So it wasn't the Phillies ended up holding their own, I'd say.
It's weird because I guessed that it was going to be the Cardinals to have that playoff magic. I don't think anyone thought it was going to be Philly. And then Philly somehow just kind of like stole that magic from the Cardinals. And they're like, here, this is going to be ours now, and took it all the way to the World Series.